This meeting is being recorded.
So you know.
Okay, cool. Well, welcome everybody. As Tracy said, my name is Matt Carabinos. I am currently a sixth grade teacher out at Williamsburg Elementary School. I was an ELA teacher for the last 2 years until about 4 days before school started this year, and now I'm a math teacher. So AI has come in handy to help me kind of make this shift pretty quickly on my feet. So am I good to go? Tracy, we good to go?
Yeah,
All right,
absolutely.
let's roll. So I'm diving in today to Magic School AI, which is, as you can see on the screen, the leading AI platform
All
in
right.
education.
Yes, you are welcome.
They are,
All right.
thank you. They are the #1 education platform. They have over 3 million users across the world. And so they have kind of grown the fastest and become one of the biggest right out of the gate. Today, we're going to learn why. So we're going to talk about the why, what, how of Magic School, best practices in general for AI, how to navigate Magic School. So hopefully some of you had a chance to set up your accounts beforehand. We're going to go over how to navigate their menu, because as you probably saw when you signed up, looking at their menu the first time can be kind of daunting because there's a lot of buttons on there. So we're going to walk through how to make that a little easier, a little more tailored to you and what you want to do. We're going to show you how to use some of the tools. We're going to show you how to modify the outputs that you get. One of the great things with AI is that whatever you get, you don't have to just take the first answer. You can modify it, you can keep it going and change your outputs to get exactly what you're looking for.
Sorry, Matt, I muted you. Can you unmute yourself? Thanks.
That's okay. Next, we'll show you how to copy and export everything. Magic School has done an amazing job integrating with Microsoft products and with Google products. So you could literally take whatever you get and export it straight to a Google Doc, export it straight to a Microsoft Word document, or export it straight to Google Slides or Microsoft PowerPoint. So they made it really easy in there. And we're going to meet the artificial Raina as opposed to the real Raina that is actually in this room. But the artificial Raina is Magic School's specific chatbot that was built just for them. It is trained on educational data, so it's a little better than just going to a regular AI and using just any old AI, because this one is tailored for education. And then you're going to have some time in a scavenger hunt to kind of play around with the tools and find things that would be beneficial for you. All right, so here's the big reason why a lot of people started using Magic School right off the bat: saving lots of time. So differentiation, lesson planning, communicating with families, all of this stuff are things that take a lot of time. And so with AI, we have the ability to kind of do everything a little bit faster. If you have a lesson plan that you've been doing for years and you want to spice it up, you want to change it, that's a great use of AI to say, give me some fresh new ideas. You can base it on whatever you want. Differentiate, you can differentiate tests, you can differentiate text, you can differentiate pretty much anything you need to, and that's all from within here as well. One of the most popular buttons that I actually haven't used yet is the email the family tool. So if you have to send out an email and you are in a particularly angry place, rather than sending that angry email from that angry place, you can have AI kind of make it a little gentler for you so that you don't, take that anger into your email with you. The other thing about Magic School is it helps to build these AI skills in a very easy way. One of the greatest things about Magic School, which leads into the last point, is that Magic School is incredibly easy to use. You're going to click a button, you're going to type in your grade level, and you're going to type in what you need, and it's going to build it for you. If you went through just a regular old AI, you would have to prompt in all of the pieces of what you need in order to get that. And you'd have to learn how to prompt and write prompts. Within here, you do not have to be a tech wizard. You do not have to be a prompting master. You just have to be really good at clicking buttons and knowing what you want. That's pretty much it. So Magic School, once you get onto their website, they have this thing called the Wall of Love. This is teachers sharing out stuff that they do, but it's also secretly a place where teachers kind of borrow ideas from each other. Because what I like to tell people all the time is that that's pretty much what the majority of teaching is borrowing things from other teachers, borrowing good ideas from other teachers. So this is a place where if you're looking for some ideas in specific areas, you can see and get some motivation from there or some ideas from there. So this is what the homepage of Magic School looks like. When you open it up, you'll have all these little tiles that you can click on. It has over 80 tools now. When I started using it a year ago, it had 4. So when I started using it, it had 4 tools, and that was it. And they were mainly tailored for the SAT prep. So that's pretty much all they did was SAT prep. I think the lesson plan tool was on there, and there was like one other one. So they have definitely come a long way. And what they've also done throughout their growth is they have actually created tools that are not just geared towards teachers. They also have tools that are geared towards admins, superintendents, principals, everybody. So they have tools that are geared pretty much towards anyone who works in a school setting.
Matt,
So-
how did they decide what they were going to add? Did they get teacher input?
Yes. So back at the Wall of Love, we saw there was a thing there. It was called a Magic School AI Pioneer, which I signed up for very early on. Through the Pioneers group, this was essentially their beta testing that they did. They got teachers from, like I said, all over the world. I went to many of their Zoom meetings where there were like literally like 3,000 people on the meeting from all over the world. And it was all about collecting ideas and what works and what doesn't work and what needs fixed. They were very receptive. They have like literally, I would use a tool that wouldn't work the way I wanted. I would send in a message and the actual CEO of the company, Adil Khan, would respond back to me. So like, that's how they started. But now they are growing very, very large. They have teams of people. They have social media presence. They have a whole lot of stuff. They are at pretty much any tech conference around. So they very much keep up with what is going on, what the trends are with AI and who is using it. So that's how they delved into like adding in some admin tools and things like that. So they listen to you. So if you want to, you can absolutely, after this is over, sign up to become a Magic School AI Pioneer. They give you their, plus program, whatever, for free. They just ask you to share stuff, share some love, and share what you're doing with everybody. That's pretty much the whole gig there. So here's a couple of examples of how the AI can help teachers. So rubrics are something that a lot of teachers use for different ideas, different subjects, different projects. With a rubric generator, you literally put in the details of your assignment, what the goals of your assignment are, and it will build a custom rubric for you. You really don't have to put in a lot of detail, as we'll see later, but it gives you a great place to start. And again, I'll show you how you can keep working with it if you don't like what you get the first time. Before I go any further, that is one of the things that teachers who have never used AI before need to understand and realize is that AI is not I put in something and I get something back and then we're done. AI is more of a conversational piece. You have to treat it like you're having a conversation with a computer, essentially. Giving it more context and more details, obviously without giving away any personal information and student information and things like that, but giving it more context and details will allow the AI to give you better results. And so if there's something you don't like from your first output, you can, what we call, iterate and just keep going and keep talking with it. And literally all you have to do is say, I don't like what you did here. Can we make it more like this? And it will literally rewrite the whole thing and redo it. The wonderful thing about AI is it does not get tired. It will literally just regenerate something for you as many times as you click the regenerate button. So I just wanted to make sure that we get that out of the way first, because a lot of teachers get discouraged when they try to use AI. It spits out something and they're like, this isn't that good. I don't really like it. And then they're like, man, I don't want to mess with it again. But literally, if you go one step further and say, I didn't like what you did here, and I don't like you did this, can you make it do this? It will adjust for you and you'll see much, much better results. So next, as you can see, differentiating, they have a whole bunch of tools in here for differentiating. They have text levelers, they have scaffolding assignments. So if you have a big project assignment, you put in the details of that project and it will literally create a step-by-step process for your students that need that. And there's you can generate a class newsletter, you can communicate with your families. They also have a tool on there for teachers to write a professional email. So if you need to send an email to your admins or something like that, and you want to like sound really good, there's a way you could do that right in there. And then the academic content is one of my favorite tools that we're definitely going to see later. You can literally create anything. You can create pamphlets, you can create articles, you can create pretty much anything you can think of, and it'll just generate stuff for you. Informational stuff, fictional things, anything you want to use for any class activity. So there you go.
Matt, we've also been told that it helps to be polite. Is that correct? When having a conversation?
That is absolutely actually correct. People laugh and chuckle and they think like, whatever. There's literal research behind it that shows that if you are polite to the AI, it will give you better results. There's also another piece of advice with AI too, which is a little creepy, but it works, is if you say, this is really important for my job, you be very kind. And then at the end you say, do your best. This is really important for my job. You will get better results. It's actually kind of crazy, kind of creepy. And what's even creepier about it is that the AI companies themselves do not understand why that works. The engineers who made this stuff don't really understand why it responds better with that. That's what they found in their research, is that it just responds better like that. So,
oh my, interesting.
My wife and I take the approach that if the robots are going to take over the world at some point, if we're kind to them now, maybe they'll remember that we were nice to them and be nicer to us down the road. Terminator, a lot of people were afraid of Terminator, but just in case. But research-based, it actually does help you get better results.
Perfect. That leads right into best practices then, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So these are in general for using AI. This is what pops up when you first sign up for a Magic School account and when you first get to the screen. These are really good just to general practices for AI. So always check for bias and accuracy. Sometimes AI gets things wrong. You'll hear the phrase often with AI, hallucinations. And the reason that AI hallucinates is because it's pulling from data sets that are literally trillions and trillions and trillions of lines of text. And so if you are not specific with your prompt, you are going to get things that are made up. And what I've also learned from research and people that are really big in the field, someone named Ethan Mollick, incredibly huge in the AI and education space, what he's found out too is that these, I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry. I'm looking ahead here, but I'll just stop there and just say, follow Ethan Mollick, because he releases something pretty much every day that talks about bias and talks about best practices for using AI. So the next one is the 80-20 approach. So this is kind of saying that you can use AI to kind of do most of the work, but you want to make sure that you're doing at least that last 20%. Some people actually like to flip this and let AI do the 20 and you do the 80. But if you get pretty good with it, which all you really need to do is play with these tools and you'll get pretty good pretty fast, you'll learn that 20% for you to do it's really all you need. Okay. Your judgment matters. So humans are always going to be the ones at least for now, that are making the decisions about how AI is used and implemented. So if you see something that you don't agree with, or you see something that necessarily doesn't go along with your school's guidelines, use your judgment. I could talk all day about judgment and school guidelines and things like that, but that's not what we're here for today. So it's always good to use this as a starting point and get an idea, ideate, and go from there. Know the limits. So AI's knowledge stops at a specific date. I believe the newest models stop in April of 2024, I think was the most recent update. So if you ask it any question about something that happened yesterday or last week or last month, AI is not going to get it right. I tested this out by asking it about Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, and it was like, that's just a rumor. That's not a real thing. Because its cutoff date at that time was 2023. So it had no idea that Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce were dating or a thing. So it was like, that's just a rumor. Okay. And I remembered what I was going to say from earlier. AI's goal is to make you happy. So AI is going to hallucinate and make things up if it can make you, the user, happy. So it's going to try to make you feel good about what it's saying. So even if it's wrong, it's going to word something that looks right, sounds right, but isn't right, because it's trying to make you happy. That's its ultimate goal. It's never mean to you. It never judges you. You're going to find when you talk to it, like, oh, wow, this is like very empathetic. It speaks in very empathetic language. You can program that out of it if you want, but I tend to leave it on. It makes me feel better about myself. And lastly, of course, protect privacy. I never put in any personal information, no student names, never upload any documents that have identifying information, things like that. Everybody pretty much knows that already there. So getting started with Magic School. So the website is app.magicschool.ai. So you can go ahead and jump into that. I'm going to kind of move forward from this one. Hopefully we all jumped in there. So this is just a run through again of how to navigate the screen. Okay. So at the top of the screen, you're going to see a search bar. You can search for whatever you want. If you want to search for math, if you want to search for text, if you want to search for rubrics. A fun one to look for is the song generator. That's fun to play with. You can make songs based off of your topics that you're teaching in class to help your kids remember. So if you are not a particularly good singer like me, and you want to make a song that helps make a topic memorable for your kids, you can just generate song lyrics on here. So use the search bar, find what you need. When you find a tool that you want to play with or you want to, experiment with, you can click on the little star that's up in the corner. And what that will do is add it to your favorites, and that'll put it right to the top of your page, so that every time you log back in, your favorites are always the first thing you see. And then you could also use the recommended for you. When you sign up, it's going to have you put in, grade level and what subjects and stuff you're teaching. It's going to recommend some tools based on that. So for example, if you put in that you're an ELA teacher, it's going to give you things like the student work feedback, sentence starters, text dependent assignments, and things like that. So it's going to try to work with you. And you can also click the button over there that's get more recommendations. And again, it'll look at what you do and it'll try to tailor tools that go along with what you teach, your subject area, your grade level, things like that. And then go ahead and scroll through the list. And hopefully you're doing this as I'm talking, like you have the little split screen thing going there. Or if you're one of the lucky souls in the world that has like 2 or 3 monitors, like hopefully you're just having fun with that right now. Okay. So as I'm talking, I'm going to keep going through this, but I'm really hoping that you guys are going through the screen and trying to find a couple tools maybe that sound interesting to you. Actually, what's really cool, the favorites that are picked on this one, those are some of the ones that I pick quite often myself. The rubric generator, like I said, is probably the one I click on the most because I try to do a lot of project-based stuff in my science lessons. So that's one I'm constantly needing rubrics there. And then multiple choice quizzes or assignments that you can base on standards, you can base on topics, whatever you want to do. and it will just generate for you real quick. Formative assessments real quick, export straight to Google Forms. You can even, I forgot that one. You can export to Google Forms as well. It'll literally take all your questions and everything and plug it right into Google Forms, create it for you.
Matt, I think that's an upgrade feature, isn't it?
So what I learned is that when you sign up, you get 10 days of Plus for free. So when you first sign up, everybody will get to play with the Plus for 10 days. I signed up with a separate email and I had the Plus and I was like, I wanted to see what the free account looked like. This doesn't help. But yeah, so if you like the Plus, you can sign up for it. I think it's $100 a year for the whole thing. But again, if you don't sign up for the Plus, you still have the ability to copy and paste everything out of here. So it is still an incredibly useful tool that can do things much faster than we can. All right. So go ahead and everything that I said, you can go ahead and do this right here. So get more recommendations for yourself. And if there's any tools you like, go ahead and add them to your toolbar by clicking the star. That's pretty much it. So I'll give people a chance to play there for a little bit. Okay. So now this is going to run you through what it looks like when you open up one of the tools. When you click on one of the tiles, it'll open up this screen and it'll look something like this. So this one is the lesson plan generator. This was one of their first tools. So this is, by default, it's one of their most popular because it's been used the longest, because it's been on there the longest. So when you see and you open this up, this is all you have to type in. Now, they give you samples there. You can see on the screen, you put in your grade level. You can type in the topic, standard, lesson objective that you have, and anything else that you want to add. Again, this is the point where the more detail you can put in, the more criteria you can put in, the better the result you're going to get. Okay. So you can see in the example here, we are in a unit about world regions. They just finished a lesson about this. So it knows like, okay, I don't need to cover that. I don't need to talk about that. I can move on to this. And you can pick your standard set. Now, I tried to do this with the PA. I literally just put in PA Steels and then I typed in the standard and it like made up a standard that was not the PA Steels standard. So literally when it did that, at the bottom, I was like, this is not the right standard. And it was like, oh yes, I apologize. You are correct. And then it goes through and it'll fix it for you. But that will happen because again, it's trying to look at like literally trillions of lines of text to try to find PA Steels, that specific standard. So this is what it looks like. Now they have this really cool thing. And again, this was created by the pioneers. So they asked us in our pioneer group, can you give us an example of one of the tools that you're using and like a really good use case? So what they did for users is they created these exemplars. So if you click on the exemplar button, you're actually going to see a lesson that another teacher did and created, and that is so that you can see exactly how it works. So I'm going to pause. I'm going to switch over here. Someone's leaving the building. So if I click on, I'm just going to click on academic content. And when I get to this screen, I see the exemplar. I see all my other stuff up here. And I'm like, man, I don't really know what I want to do. I'm not even sure how to start using this tool. I'm not even sure what to use it for. Let's see what somebody else used it for. So when you click on the exemplar, this is what somebody has created. They want a textbook page, one page exactly, and it put in the objective, explain the difference between ethnic and religious groups studying Southern Africa, and make sure that it explicitly names several of the groups. Okay, so this is where you say like, I need you to do, I absolutely need all these things to be said. And then you literally click on the generate button and it will create for you a textbook page. Okay, now, what's really cool about this, you see it highlights things that would be like vocabulary words in a textbook. Some AI tools are to the point where we can create images and stuff, but right now, creating an image is another tool. So you would be able to copy and paste this into a Google Doc, and you'd be able to go out and use their other tool and create an image that would go along with this. So you could ask it to create an image about the agricultural tradition in South Africa during this time period. And you could ask it about specific groups. I'd be really curious what that would spit out and say. But these are the types of things that you can do. Now, with your Plus for the 10 days, you'll be able to see these example chats at the bottom here. These example chats are based on what you asked for. It's going to suggest follow-up questions, like things that maybe you as a teacher would want to know to go further into that topic. So for example, what resources can I use to teach my students about these cultures? And then it's literally going to come up with a list. It gives you books, documentaries, websites, interactive resources, Khan Academy spelt wrong. That would be really funny if Sal Khan saw that it was spelled wrong on Magic School. That'd be funny. But it gives you all these ideas. Now, like the field trips and guest speakers, it's like considered, yeah, oh, sure, I'm going to organize a trip to South Africa from Pennsylvania, So it's not taking that into consideration, but it's just trying to give you as many ideas as possible. And you can literally keep going with this, okay? So even down here, without having to go back and create a new tool or go into a new tool, I can even go down here and customize something I want down here. Now they put in some for you, so you can have all of this translated into another language. So if you have students who are English as a second language and they're still not really fluent in English and they would be more comfortable reading something in Spanish or French or whatever language you need, you can translate anything you create on here, you can translate it into a different language. The questions button will generate questions based off of the material that you put in. You can adjust the length of the output. So if you want that textbook page to be longer, if you want it to be shorter, more concise, you can do that. If you want it to summarize, it'll print you out a nice summary. And I think it gives you bullet points by default. But again, you can customize that. We don't have to worry too much about the custom. That's kind of a advanced thing. That's where you put in, like anything you create, you can create a custom prompt that you can use it with every tool every time so that you don't have to keep retyping in the same things. That's a little bit advanced. We'll save that for another training.
I think the misspelling though is a good reminder that we have to really look at what we're what it's spitting out, just like we would teach the kids to.
100%.
There's a reason we tell them proofread and don't just use what it spits out. So I think that's a good reminder there.
Yes, 100%. And that goes back into like the biases and the inaccuracies that AI can produce. One of the big hurdles that happened early on in AI when we started making image generators, if you literally asked AI to make an image of a teacher, literally almost every image was a middle-aged white woman. That was a teacher, middle-aged white woman, okay? When you asked for an image of a male teacher, 90% of your output would be white male teachers, okay? So these were the problems that were happening with the bias and the inaccuracies that they were experiencing. Early on, they've gotten a lot better, but early on, I literally would put in, African-American, middle-aged, teacher, like I'd put in as much detail as I can to get it, and it would still make a white person. Like it would still make a white person. So it has a little trouble with that, but literally over the last six to 8 months, they have gone light years beyond in that. And they've in some cases, they've actually overcorrected for it. So now if you just type in a teacher, like almost all of your results are going to be minority. So like, sometimes it goes a little bit, but that's just getting into the idea of the bias and the inaccuracy there. All right. So we went over
Did
how
they
to
fix
do
the
all
finger?
that.
Did they fix the finger issue too?
There are still issues with fingers. Again, slightly getting better. Honestly, Tracy, I hope they never fix the issue with fingers because as I'm sure a lot of people in this training are reading, like deep fakes
fakes.
and photos are
Mhm.
going to be a huge problem in the future. I mean, they're already becoming a huge problem. There was a tool that was available for free. I put up a picture of Superman. There was a picture of Superman and I superimposed my face on it and it was free and it did it like that. And it actually looked, I wish I could look like that. That'd be cool to have Henry Cavill's body, but you know, what man can dream. But like, it's that easy. Like literally it was free. It took 3 seconds and my face is on Superman. So like, that's when you go down that rabbit hole of thought, you realize how dangerous that could be. So we just have to be very careful. And like I said, I hope they never get rid of the finger problem because then we won't know.
All right.
So yeah, so this is where you saw an output get created. So you can look at the output and you can say, I like this, I like that, I don't like this is boring, give me something better. And so you look, and what you're supposed to be doing is one of the tools that you picked, you click on the exemplar for the tool that you picked, and you are looking for the strengths and weaknesses, or strengths and areas of growth, sorry, not weaknesses, strengths and areas of growth from the exemplar that was printed out for you. So you're looking through it and you're looking at it from a cautious eye saying like, I really like this about this, I don't like this. Many teachers and many users of AI, their complaint is this is very generic, right? So this is very generic. It's not very detailed. That's where you can go in and say, I need more detail. So that would be an area for growth. Like you need more. All right. So if you haven't done this already, make sure that you pick a tool that you like, you're playing around with. Okay. Hopefully in another window here. And I'm like minimized away from the screen. So you don't have to watch like my hands move and like my face move all over the screen. And you are clicking on the exemplar button and seeing what it spits out. If you want to get bold, you can type in your information. Like you don't have to use the exemplar button, but type in the stuff you want to use, stuff you're going to use it for. And you can do the same thing. Review the output, identify the strengths and things that it can do better. Okay. So that's what you're doing right now. That can be generating a lesson plan. That can be generating academic content. That could be generating a rubric. My advice, like print out something that maybe like you could use for tomorrow. Like you can like save it. So print out something that you can use for tomorrow. For example, I'm a math teacher. So I can go in right now. And one of my favorites now that I'm a math teacher is this math spiral review. So there it is right there at the bottom of my screen. So I can type in whatever grade level. So we'll pick 6th, do 5 problems. Let's say I want to make morning work for tomorrow. We just finished division of fractions and mixed numbers. And then I could say, we just learned this. So take it easy on the students. Trying to think what else. Oh, make a mix of word problems and simple solution problems. It's morning work, so I don't want to like torture them too bad. And then I click generate, and it's going to generate me some problems. Bingo. Bam. Copy and paste into a Google Doc. And you have the plus for 10 days, so you can even just export it into a Google Doc. I'll just show you what that looks like real quick. You'll export the whole thing. Now, something I've reached out to them about, when you do this, sometimes it doesn't write out the okay, good, it does. If you would just copy and paste from the window, like if I would just take this and I would just hit copy, I'm going to show you what it looks like when I do that, because you're going to see the problem right away. So when it does fractions and has mixed numbers and stuff like that, it actually types out the code that they use to type that in. So you would have to go back through and kind of edit all that, which is kind of a pain in the butt. Or you could just teach your kids how to read that. You can just teach your kids how to read that. Challenge them to see if they know what it means. But that is one of the slight downfalls of doing the copy and paste. For some reason, when you export it, it exports everything perfectly, beautifully, nicely. Okay, so there you go. So literally from here, I could just take this, print it out, and give it to my kids tomorrow morning. And that took me a grand total of what, 30, 45 seconds. Okay, now I would want to go through these and make sure, like, do they make sense? You know, is this relevant to what we were teaching? Is this too hard? Is it not? Looking at these problems, they definitely took it easy on my kids, so it listened to me. So one of the best things, you're probably wondering, because this is what I wondered right away. I was like, oh man, I have to sit here and like figure out the answer for all these. Now, this is a little above and beyond, but bingo. Now, again, I'm going to read this as it spits out and make sure that it actually is correct. So far, when I've been messing with the math tools, it's been pretty good. I've only had to fix a couple things. So it's been pretty decent, pretty good. But yeah, again, okay, so I didn't have to go sit there and fill out the answers. Now, instead of actually working out every problem and doing it, I can just sit here and say, yeah, that looks right. Yeah, that looks right. Okay, that looks right. Good to go. There you go. Okay, so that's a real quick, simple thing. So that is, you know, morning work. I've been doing my morning work like that since the year started. So that's a really good use case for that. All right, let's go back in. Let's keep it rolling here. Hopefully you are able to generate something for yourself, something that you're going to use, and you checked it out and you read it. Okay, so now, if you did not do this already, I would love for you to try to generate something based on your information. So whether you're a special ed teacher, whether you're, you know, classroom teacher, whatever grade level, whatever subject, pick a tool, put your class, you know, grade level in there, put whatever you're teaching. You can make it relevant to what you just did today, what you're going to be teaching tomorrow, whatever you want to do. So go ahead in there and type all that stuff in. And again, in the tools that offer the additional criteria spot, that's where you really want to put in, like, you know, I need these problems to be a little easier. This is my class that are my struggling learners. So I'd like these ones to be a little easier. You could also ask it and say, like, can you give me a mix of problems? And can you tell me which ones are which? And so on and so forth. So like you can literally just like keep going with these things, which is what makes them really cool. So rather than me sitting here, like, I know I used to use our Canvas as our LMS, and I'd have to, you know, create quizzes in Canvas, which is great because it auto grades and it gets sent right over to our grading system, which is Skyward. So wonderful. However, Canvas is a pain in the butt to make quizzes. It takes forever. It takes so long to make those quizzes. It's actually quicker for me to just go through and grade them myself than it is to actually make the quiz and then have it graded at the end. So I don't see a benefit to that. So I like having these make the quizzes and things like that. All right. Okay. So whenever you have created an output, so you picked a tool, you entered in your grade level, you entered in the topic or the standard, you put all that information in and it spit something out for you. Whenever you have an output, you can now go ahead and use one of these. So for example, if you use an academic content generator and you made a short story about, or an article about plants getting their weight from air. That's what I just taught today. That was a lesson I taught today. So plants get their weight mostly from the air. So it'll spit you out a academic article, however long you want it to be. And you can literally click on the questions button at the end and it will generate questions that are related to that output. Okay. You can make it longer, you can make it shorter, or you can summarize what that is. And what's really neat, like I said before, if you want to translate it, you can go ahead and translate it. Or if you want to go, if you're a little more advanced in this class, maybe on the intermediate and advanced level of this class, you can go ahead and use Raina to kind of literally just say whatever you want to do. If it's not one of those, 4 choices and you want to do something different, you can use Raina to literally create and do whatever you want with that output. Okie dokie. So there you go. It's your time to shine, people. Go play. This is literally called the play with Magic School. Okay. So that's one of the things I stress to people all the time when first getting started with AI is that you have to play with the toy. You have to play with the toy. So play with it, experiment with it. My challenge that I give to people is try to get it to do something that you don't think it can do. And that usually surprises people. The one that always gets teachers, and I am so sorry for anyone in here who teaches ELA for the next 10 years. Your essays, good luck. These AIs can write an incredibly perfect essay. They can write an essay that has mistakes on purpose. They can write an essay that is in my voice. All I have to do is write a sample paper. If I write a sample paper one time, I can get AI to mimic my voice and it will sound exactly like me every single time when I write. I've actually done it for my LinkedIn posts. So any of you that are on LinkedIn, you can come find me on LinkedIn. But I've actually had some LinkedIn posts that they're in my voice. I took a few LinkedIn posts and said, this is what I sound like. Tell me how I sound, and turn that into a prompt. And that's what it did. And now I just use that prompt and say, I want to write an article about this. And it'll use my voice and it'll write it in my voice. Now, at this stage right now, students don't quite have the knowledge of how to iterate and go through this process. What they're mainly going to be doing is, oh, this is going to do the work for me. I'm just going to let this do the work for me. This is why if your school district allows it, it is absolutely essential that you talk about AI. Even if you don't want the students to use it, that's totally fine. Even if the students don't use it, it is absolutely crucial that you at least discuss AI with them. Show them what it is, explain to them what it is good at and what it is not good at. And in my personal opinion, and the opinion of many others in this space, the more you show them what it can do, the more they're going to realize that it's not that great for them. Because you get to this point in college where we are now with college students, which are, if I have this AI do all the work for me, what am I actually taking out of the learning? And so that's kind of where we are with higher ed right now, because higher ed is fighting really hard about what to do with AI. K-12 is a little bit behind higher ed. Again, this is because AI programs, most of them you have to be 18 to sign up for. You have to create a Google account. But what's scary is like ChatGPT, you could just go on and just use it. You don't even need an account. Kids can just go on and use it for nothing. And it's like the good model too. So that's something that we need to keep in the back of our minds. On my TikTok channel, which you can get through my LinkedIn or whatever, it's Mr. K all day. But I've said, I've given many examples of ways that teachers can kind of get around this for essays and things like that. So that's one thing. Like, again, you're using this yourself, which is the first step. The teachers need to know what this can do and how it works. The next step is, how do we deal with it when our students are going to start using it? And the last thing I'm going to say on this topic is that the moment I was waiting for happened about 2 months ago. Apple released Apple Intelligence. Now, every major cell phone company, the most popular branded cell phones, AI is built into the cell phone. Doesn't even need an app. It's literally in the phone. So if a kid goes out and gets an iPhone 16, a Google Pixel 9, whatever number they're on now, Samsung Galaxy S24, when they get that phone, AI is literally built into the phone. When they open up text messages, AI can respond to text messages for them. When they open up emails, it can respond to emails for them. When they open up web pages or apps from there, the AI can analyze what's on that page and explain it, give them like the possibilities are endless, but we have to remember now this is in these kids' hands and they don't have any idea what to do with it. So again, if your school is a little more willing to take that chance, it's good that you're here. It's good that you're learning about it so that we can share this with our students, because we're going to run into a problem here when our students are going to have more knowledge than our teachers because they've been using it on their phones. So that's okay. Off soapbox now.
Well, and Matt, they have been, I mean, not generative AI, but they've been using Siri and Alexa since they were born. So they know the process a lot better than we do. Exactly.
And I'm glad you brought that up. That was in the training over the summer, but that was, Siri and Alexa, people forget that those are AI. Mm-hmm. The difference is those are just AI that is literally just using your phone as a context. So it can only do things from within your phone. Mm-hmm. Now that Siri is attached to ChatGPT, it can use the things that are on your phone. It can reference its data that it has stored in its own AI program, and it can create new things for you. It can literally create things for you right here on your phone. So that's the things that, we have to be wary of. All right. So next thing, this is what happens after I use the tool. What happens after I did everything? Now, what do I do now? So you saw down at the bottom, you have all those options for copy, edit, export. There's also a nice read aloud function, which actually isn't too bad of a voice. You can save your resources. There is also, what is great about Magic School is every conversation you have is saved in your output history. So if you had a conversation like a couple months ago and you're like, oh my gosh, what was that lesson? It was so good, I can't remember it. You can go back through your output history and you can find all of this. Okay, let me make sure my toolbar is covering the stuff at the bottom of the screen. Yeah, there you go. So again, Magic School has a plus version that after your 10 days, you can sign up for. I reached out to the social media coordinator of Magic School because he and I are tight. He's new to his job, so he's a little busy. But if he is able to get me what I asked for, which was essentially an extended trial period of the plus, I will have Tracy share that out with everybody's email so that you guys can all have access to that. So that's what I'm working on. I'm doing my best. So here's the copy, the export, all that stuff. I kind of showed you briefly how that works. You can export straight to Google Docs. You can export to Microsoft. So if you're a Microsoft school, you can use Microsoft products. Google school, you can use Google products. And you can also just copy and paste. If you're not doing math equations, totally fine to copy and paste. Okay. There you go. This is all about trying it yourself. So I'm hoping that, I can't see everybody's screen, but I'm hoping that you're literally going through and playing with these things in another window.
Matt, can you answer a question in the chat real quick?
Oh, yeah, sure.
This is kind of a loaded question though. Is Magic School AI better or easier for teachers to use than school AI?
First of all, kudos to whoever that is that knows about the different AI programs. Thank you. I was beginning to think I was the only one in this area that even knew anything beyond this. So thank you for whoever you are knowing that. For this purpose, yes. For this purpose of teacher-created materials, yes. Magic School is the most popular. They kind of were first in this space with generative AI for teachers. They are better for teacher-created stuff. Now, something I wasn't planning on talking about, but I will bring up because someone brought up school AI, the idea of student-facing AI. If you're going to go down that route, again, glad you're here. Let me know who you are. Reach out and find me because I'd love to help you on your journey. But student-facing AI, if that was your purpose, was to get your students using an AI program or learning how to use an AI program, School AI is a little better for that. School AI was the first ones who did that. So they were the trendsetters at making student-facing AI. And what's really cool about their program is you can set up a chatbot that is specific for you, your class, your content, all the stuff we did here. You can set up a chatbot and then literally let your students open it. It's exactly the same as sharing a Kahoot link or a Blooket link. It has a little room to join. The students will join a room, and it will be, so for example, one of the best and most famous use cases is history teachers like to create a character of who they're teaching about. So I think my kids are learning about like ancient Egypt. So you could create a bot that is Cleopatra or King Tut. And the bot will respond and talk as if King Tut would talk based on all of the historical data that is in its training set about King Tut. Now, the students, instead of just write me a paper about King Tut, you can literally have the students ask questions, interview King Tut. And what's great about the student facing is that you, the teacher, have absolute control over that room. And you can see every piece of the conversation. And it actually updates you when your kids are off topic, when they're trying to. So for example, last year when I tested this out with a group of students just to see what it did, a bunch of students were like, you know, who's going to win the Super Bowl? Would you rather the 49ers or the Chiefs win the Super Bowl? And the AI literally was like, oh, that's really cool that you're interested in the Super Bowl, but we're talking about ecosystems. So like, what do you think about XYZ? And then it asks a question to like get them back into it.
Nice.
And so like that is like, so if you're going the route, which is a pretty advanced route, and if you're there, kudos to you. But if you're going the route of student-facing AI, I would choose School AI. If you're looking for just specifically for teachers, Magic School is the better way to go. I will also tell you this because I know people who are the purchasers of these programs. School AI it's probably changed. This was about 8 months ago. 8 months ago, School AI was $8.33 per student. 8 months ago, Magic School with Magic Student, which is their student-facing program, was $5 per student. So that's a whole. The people, I know who you'll be talking to from Magic School. I know who you'll be talking to from School AI. They'll come in, they'll give you their sales pitch, and you decide what you want to do with it. So these programs have a lot of potential for teachers. They have a lot of potential for students. So there's a whole bunch to explore there. But so that's a long-winded answer. But for teacher-specific tools, Magic School would be the one that I would probably start with in that discussion. Okay, so we've been doing this for a hot minute now. You guys were supposed to be doing all this stuff in the background. So explore your favorite tools. That would save you the most time. Find at least 3 different ones that you would like, and find a tool that will help you support your students with varying abilities. There's a couple different tools that do that. And then find a tool that can make you laugh. Song generator is pretty good, by the way. Okay, so yeah, there you go. So if you created a joke, or you found the joke generator, or you found the song generator and you'd love to share in the chat, that'd be great. I literally just created a song earlier. So let me see if I can find it. Go to my output history here. I was creating a song about division of fractions. There it is. There it is. So there you go. Teaching them how to the algorithm essentially, and how to solve division with fractions. So yeah.
So we do have about 5 minutes left, 4 minutes left. So while you're searching around and doing your little scavenger hunt, if you have any questions for Matt, feel free to unmute or type in the chat, and we can do a little Q&A here with the last couple of minutes while you're searching around.
Absolutely.
Matt, unless you want to sing that song to us and
no, thank you. Actually, hold on. Since I'm still sharing my screen, we might as well go to the next step. I'll just play it for you. How about that?
Ah, so you
I'll
did
just play it
create
for you. I did. I put it into my favorite Suno.
it.
So reading Rizzlers is our, you middle school teachers will be like, oh, OMG, reading Rizzlers. That's the name my students picked for our reading competition team name, by the way. So if you're going to reading competition, see you there. Look out for the reading Rizzlers. We're the crazy group. Here's what it sounds like. Lyrics are over here.
We might not have shared sound.
Yeah, I'm not
shared
hearing
sound. That's okay. It slaps. That's all you need to know
But-
is that it slaps. But literally, if you go on this website, suno.com, you can find me. My name on there is Mr. K all day. And you can find the song and listen to my songs. But so this was like a side thing that I was getting into big time, was creating songs to help my kids memorize concepts that we were learning, just to get them learning in a different way, something to try to stick in their head. Teachers were always looking for ways to get the stuff to stick in kids' heads, and we know that music is one of the ways that kids can learn this. So yeah, DOK questions. I'm looking through the chat right now. I was like ignoring the chat the whole time, but I'm looking through the chat. That's Kathy. Hi, Kathy. I have some old friends in here. So hello. Yeah, the DOK questions are awesome. Getting your kids thinking on different levels, and that's a good one. That's a fun one to use.
Caroline is asking what website Brenda put it in. Forget it. She's on it.
Sorry, I'm focusing on the chat.
I appreciate you, Brenda. You're the chat manager here. Yes. Kathy, I am thrilled that you are here and you are exploring so much. I love it. Thank you. Thank you for coming.
So as we finish up, please remember to fill out that Google form as a sign-in sheet, so that way you can get your Act 48. We know who was here. We know who to send some stuff out to. We plan on doing at least 2 more of these workshop type things, with two more tools. We will be sending that information out, and it will be, hopefully, Matt will be the facilitator again, and he's all in on these tools. So I love hearing it.
Yes, I am all in, and I spent an entire summer becoming obsessed with these tools, and
we know.
So they all know, but yeah, so it is, yeah.
No, we appreciate your insight and your knowledge. It's so helpful for somebody who's actually in it and using them. So we appreciate that you're willing to share with everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. And, for those that find me on LinkedIn, reach out on LinkedIn, find me on TikTok, whatever. If you have TikTok, TikTok is like a sneaky place where I get ideas from teachers as well. So I didn't know TikTok could be used for that. Once I started seeing teachers using AI on TikTok, I was like, wait a minute, I already did that. I already tried that. And then I was like, why don't I just do that too? And so that's what I started a TikTok for. But ever since I've had my son, Owen, some of the TikToks are about him too. So if you're looking for entertainment and teaching AI stuff, you can come check out TikTok. But yeah, LinkedIn, I'm very active on LinkedIn, so I'm on there way too much. But yeah, that is anything you want to know, feel free to reach out. I literally, it's why my name is Mr. K all day. I could literally talk about AI all day. If any of you know my wife, ask her. She knows. She asked me, it was funny that whole summer. She's like, can we please talk about anything else, anything other than AI? So, but yeah, thank you very much for giving me the opportunity. Feel free to reach out if you have more questions. And just to let everybody know, Magic School is, and this is crazy to think about. Magic School is literally just scratching the surface.
Mhm.
This is like the snow that's sitting on the top of the iceberg. This isn't even the top of the iceberg. This is just the snow that's sitting on top of the iceberg. This tool is a great intro because it's so easy to use. And so that's why many teachers start with Magic School until you build up your skills at prompting and you get really good at that. Then you can go through and just use any AI program and get better results. But you have to build up that AI literacy first, and you have to build up those prompting skills. So Magic School is an amazing place to start, and I'm glad I got to share it with you. So I really hope that you continue your journey with AI and don't just give up. As I said, it's not a one and done. It's not a give me this and you get it and you're like, man, I don't really like that. You need to keep going with it. Okay. Trust me when I tell you, you will be amazed what happens when you just push the conversation just a little bit further. And the amount of time you're going to save, I hope that you get to do cool things with that time you save. Like maybe have more time to relax at home. That would be cool. That would be cool. So
Awesome.
thank you very much.
Thank you
Thanks,
so much,
everyone.
Matt.
Yes.
And thank you everyone for joining. And I'm going to stop recording.